So Subnautica 2 is basically Subnautica 1, but with better graphics. Is that actually true? As you probably already know, Subnautica 2 has just been released, and you should know that because it was one of the most anticipated games out there, and it's literally everywhere right now. And let's remember what happened before it came out. I don't know if you know this, but the people who made it got fired. There was a lawsuit. A judge had to order someone back to work. And then somehow the sequel to one of the best games ever made just dropped. I feel like I should tell you about this. And that's exactly why, before playing the second game, you should watch this video. It gives you a solid recap of the first Subnautica and explains why it became such a huge success, obviously from my personal perspective. By the end of the video, I'll also talk about the improvements I was hoping to see in Subnautica 2. And I can already tell you that a couple of aspects left me slightly disappointed. I can definitely say that Subnautica is one of the most incredible games I've ever played. It's fantastic. I'd even go as far as calling it the underwater version of Outer Wilds because of how immersive it is. In some ways, it also reminds you of Minecraft. You crash land on an alien ocean planet. The whole surface is ocean. Your spaceship, the Aurora, is on fire somewhere behind you. The game doesn't explain much because explanation would ruin it. You have to figure out that this planet has layers, that going deeper is how you progress, that some things will kill you and some things just look like they will. You have to figure out what direction the story is even pointing. Unknown Worlds is not a massive company, but they built something that sold over 5 million copies. Subnautica entered early access on Steam in December 2014, full release January 2018. 3.5 years for early access. That's a long time to be building something in public, but it worked, the community shaped it. And here is what I think made Subnautica stick when 100 other survival games didn't. The fear is honest. A lot of games try to scare you with jump scares or loud sounds or darkness. Subnautica does something different. It makes you feel genuinely small in a space that doesn't care about you. You're exploring a reef, confident you've been here before, and then you hear it, a low resonant sound from below, and your brain just knows. Something is down there, something big. It gives you the feeling of a slow horror. The other thing is that the game creates curiosity. There's a real story buried in the planet. An alien civilization, a disease, a cure. You find it in pieces, through wrecked equipment, through audio logs, through just going deeper and finding things that shouldn't be there. The game won PC Game of the Year at the 2018 Golden Joystick Awards. Unknown Worlds won the Breakthrough Award the same year. That's recognition, but honestly, the reviews tell more. 96% positive on Steam. For a game that spent years in early access, that number is huge. Now, I mentioned a lawsuit in the beginning, and I'm not sure if I should talk about this here. But I feel like I should because it kind of explains a part of the journey, so I should probably at least say something. In 2021, Unknown Worlds was acquired by Krafton, a major South Korean publisher. There was also a massive earnout bonus tied to Subnautica 2's commercial performance. In 2025, Krafton removed 3 key leaders at the studio, the CEO and the 2 co-founders. Their official reason was that the founders had lost focus, that the game wasn't ready for early access and would cause, and I'm paraphrasing from their actual statement here, irreversible harm to the entire IP franchise. Then the 3 of them sued Krafton. A Delaware judge ordered Krafton to reinstate the CEO. Krafton complied and the game was announced for May 2026 in early access. Krafton's branding around Subnautica 2 has become a lot quieter publicly, even though they've said they're still supporting the launch. And then the game came out and sold 2 million copies in 12 hours. I don't know what to do with that, so I think I'm gonna stop here. So, over the last few hours, I've watched a ton of newly released gameplay videos because I absolutely needed to answer to a few important questions. First of all, does Subnautica 2 actually look better? Yes, absolutely yes. You can tell almost immediately that there's been a major graphical improvement compared to the first game. And to be fair, the original Subnautica already looked great considering graphics were never really its main focus. The only visual issue I had with the first game was that sometimes, when you got very close to the Aurora spaceship, certain parts didn't look properly rendered. It was a small flaw in an otherwise nearly perfect game. So overall, massive improvement in graphics. Now, the second question. Did they improve inventory management? Unfortunately, no. The inventory system still seems almost identical to the first game. And honestly, I've never really liked it. I would have preferred something closer to Minecraft systems, where you can stack up to 64 items in one slot. There's no real reason to waste multiple inventory spaces on the exact same material. Hopefully, this feedback reaches the developers during early access, because I genuinely think changing the inventory system would improve the overall flow of the game without hurting the experience. And finally, can Subnautica 2 stand on its own if you never played the first game? Well, not really. From what I've seen, the game seems to assume that everyone already knows the world of Subnautica before starting the sequel. Personally, I think they should have included a stronger introduction for new players, similar to the opening of the first game. So, then what's new? Well, the sequel looks more polished from the start. It's set on a completely new planet. The design team apparently made this choice deliberately, because returning to the same planet would remove the uncertainty that made the first game work. This happens when you know why your own game succeeded. There's co-op now, up to 4 players, which is an interesting choice for a game that built its identity on loneliness. I'm curious how that plays out. There's a new biomod system where you can modify your own biology using alien life forms to adapt to the planet. You start unable to even digest food. So, I still personally haven't played Subnautica 2 yet, but I can already tell you one thing. The insane hype surrounding this game exists because of how incredible the first Subnautica was. So if there are discounts available right now, I genuinely recommend starting with the first game before jumping into the sequel. Because Subnautica isn't just a survival game, it's an experience. If you've played Subnautica 1 and you have thoughts, or you've already dived into the sequel and want to argue about the inventory, leave it in the comments. I'm genuinely curious what people who played the first game during early access think about all of this. Oh yeah, and remember to hit the subscribe button, which is somewhere, I think here. Anyway, don't forget. Thanks for watching.